What is your materiality limit for giving out money? Hi and welcome to FFTL Inspired. My name is Esther and today we will be reviewing and sharing lessons from the Netflix documentary Tinder Swindler. I know some of you guys might have watched it and some of you might not have seen it. If you have not seen it, do not worry. We wouldn't be sharing so much of the storyline in this video so as to avoid spoilers, but I recommend that you see it. And if you've seen it, grab a glass of wine, relax and chill with me as we discuss the lessons from this documentary. Cheers! So I feel it's very important for us to share all these lessons so that we can help other young girls out there and prevent them from falling prey to con artists out there in every shape, color and sizes. As much as a lot of people feel that they cannot fall victims of such scam, we've also heard about different means by which people have been conned out of their money. Important thing for me is to be humble and learn from the experiences of others. Some scams are even more complicated than this. They operate in syndicates such that almost everything checks out and so you believe whatever they tell you. So you never know it all. We just have to learn, and there are lessons for us to learn from the experiences of these three women covered by the documentary. So my sympathy goes out to these women, and I believe that there are some GoFundMe schemes that are online to help them recover some part of their money. So if you're led and are touched by their story, you can check out these schemes and donate to them. All right, let's just go into some of the lessons and red flags from the documentary. First thing first is for you to be careful of what you're looking for, ladies. You know, Cecilia had this idea in her head that she was a Disney princess and the guy is a Disney prince coming to save her, and so everything was checking out in the way a prince should come. It just tells us to be careful what you are looking for, because sometimes what you're looking for can be what will eat you. And so when it comes, you feel like, oh, it's just the answer to your prayers, whereas that is supposed to be a red flag for you. But because you are so much overwhelmed by your illusion, you refuse to see. One thing that was so plain to see, but I felt she ignored, was the picture. The picture he showed her on their first date. Guys, that picture was clearly photoshopped. I don't know if probably in their own part of the world, they don't know that Photoshop pictures exist. And you know, I was checking the crime rates in Norway, and Norway has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. So I feel like probably people from that side of the world might not understand that people are really out there in the world that want to catfish you. But she didn't figure it out, and so she fell for it. Another thing that got at me was, what is a man of that caliber doing on a dating site, especially Tinder? I haven't been on Tinder before, so you guys should please let me know. Is it possible to really find men of that caliber on a dating site like Tinder, like a billionaire? Because I feel like men of that status will be able to find somebody within their circle to date, and I feel like they'll be too busy to be building profiles on dating sites and be swiping to see who is a match and who is not a match, except that person is clearly a player and is not looking for a serious relationship. Because people of that caliber would want to protect their identity as much as possible, because they know that they can easily fall prey to any lady that is out there to hunt for their money and just dig their gold. So why would somebody now go and put himself right there to like, okay, I'm a big fish, oh, come and catch me, come and catch me? You know, so that was what it seemed like to me. Anyways, Prince Charming indeed. Another lesson to learn here is you don't run off with somebody that you have just met. She met the guy on the first date, and on that first date she was already planning to go out of the country with him on a private jet. The thing is, aside from her money that was taken, she could have been killed, she could have been trafficked into something that she would regret for the rest of her life. And this is not the first time this is happening. We've read stories of ladies who chatted with people on Facebook, sent them tickets, and they go running off to meet this person that they've not even met physically, with no traces. Ladies, please, this is 2022. There are a lot of evil people out. Even if you've been dating this person for 6 months, 1 year, before you run off with somebody, ensure that you leave traces of your whereabouts. Confide in somebody, let somebody know where you're going. And as much as Cecilia even told her friends that she was running off with this man, I'm like, you hardly just met this guy. Like, you only live once. You know, We say all of these things to make ourselves happy, whereas we are putting ourselves in danger. All this, you only live once. If you're not careful, you will die before you even get to live. If that guy had killed her that night, this story probably will not be heard by now. There are some things that you don't even do or allow on a first date. There are some information about yourself you don't reveal. Like, it's fine. I know that sometimes we meet some people and we feel like we've known them all our lives, and we get tempted to pour out ourselves. You start telling them everything, which was the same thing Cecilia did. See, you know yourself and you know your heart. The person you're talking to, you don't know what the person's motive is at that point. So you need to be careful. And which brings me to the question, at what stage do you think it is appropriate to start revealing information about yourself to your partner, especially information about your finances, information about your family member, which was what Simon was doing on the first date? I find that very uncomfortable, telling me, oh, your dad is the king of diamonds. Okay, good for you. But why do I need to know at that point? What are you trying to prove? Are you trying to distract me from what I should know? Your character that I should be seeing, you're trying to distract me by painting this good picture of yourself. Like, those are red flags for me. Trying too hard to convince me about you. Why not cool it off? Let me find out things for myself. And this is one of the things that con men do, which brings me to the third point, ladies. Con men try to tick all the boxes too early because they have a target, they have a timeline. So they do all these things to quickly paint a good picture of themselves in your mind. They paint a wealthy picture of themselves. They paint a charming picture of themselves. They send you good morning text messages, good night text messages, send you flowers, offer you this, offer you that. They understand the weaknesses of women and they play the game. They understand the need of women for attention, for validation, and so they give you all these things. They dangle a lot of nice things to your face that is almost so hard to resist. They do all of these things to sway your judgment, to distract you. You need to stay focused, my lady. People who are truly rich hardly show off their profile too early because they're also trying to protect themselves. Like, does this person want me for me, or this person wants me for my money? For that, don't be desperate for money, don't be desperate for attention, don't be desperate for love. Ladies, know that you are not stupid for saying no to a seemingly good offer. Cecilia felt like, oh, this was a good opportunity. If I miss it now, I might never get it again. I've never been on a private jet. No, if you say no now, it doesn't mean you can't still go on a private jet tomorrow. You can even own a private jet. Be less superficial and know that all that glitters is not gold. I know you have been hearing it. This is not the first time you've been hearing it, but it is really true. All that glitters is not gold. Another thing I want to say at this point is, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't already, have money rules and boundaries. Know how much you can give to one person at a time. Know how many times you can give money to the same person. What is your materiality limit for giving out money? An amount that is substantial to you, that if you lose this money could affect you. Yeah, materiality in terms of what is the amount you are willing to let go. Any amount you're not willing to let go, you don't give it out as loan to somebody, because this amount could easily be lost. There are some people $2,000 might be material to them. Some other people it might be $100. What this materiality limit does is that it triggers your mind and your subconscious when that limit is hit. Just the same way we have it in programming. Alerts are triggered when events happen. So when somebody is asking you for an amount of money that is not something that you can give, you are drawn aback. You begin to think, why is this person asking for this money over and over again? And you know, when somebody keeps asking you for money over and over again, you need to think. If your relationship has become all about money, guys, ladies, that's the time you need to evaluate. Is this really the kind of relationship you want to be in? Another thing I recommend in terms of money is to have different buckets for your money. Have a bucket for investments, for savings, for emergencies, for travel, for charity. So if somebody comes to you to ask you for money and you don't have that money in your charity account, at that point you know that, sorry, I'm not your savior, I cannot help you. Maybe you should come back later or ask somebody else. And regardless of who it is, always have audit trails for your material amount. So if you are giving somebody money and it's probably less than your material amount, okay, you might do without the traces or the trails, it's fine. But if this money is substantial to you, Let there be documents, let there be traces. You know, this lady carried her cash to go and give to this guy, lied to the credit card companies that she was one traveling around, whereas it was this guy. So many things, and that is one of the reasons why Simon today cannot be prosecuted, because there are no financial documents, there are no legal contracts to talk about repayment of money or anything. So it's hard to prosecute him in the court of law, because these monies were given out freely on their own free will. So it was not like he forged any document to collect money from them or anything. Even though I felt he impersonated the identity of the King of Diamonds, but you know, the guy was even claiming that he has the right to choose whatever name or identity he wants for himself, that people have imaginations. People have imaginations, they use their imagination, which also brings me to saying that, please ladies, when a guy is asking you out or telling you things, let him be explicit in what he's saying, so that tomorrow you will not be having stories that touch him. Be saying, did I tell you that I wanted to marry you? Did I tell you I wanted to do this for you? Did I tell you something? You assumed. No, these things happen in a relationship. A guy will be thinking he's dating a lady, and the lady will tell him, when did we ever agree that we would date? Oh, because I was going out with you. At every point in time, let everything be defined. Because at the end of the day, some people come and tell you that you're using your imaginations. And for money, treat material amounts as one-way decisions as well. Like, this money, if I give it out and I don't get it back, how do I get out of it? Can I get out of this situation? So you don't put yourself in a position where you give all to somebody with no safety net for you. Like giving your whole savings, giving your investments, giving your mortgage to somebody, which was what the second woman did, Penila. She diverted the funds for her house with no safety net to Simon, because she felt like he had the means of paying him back. Before you give that kind of money, if you probably had a car that he has given to you before, at least that's something to fall back on if things go wrong. That is still fine. That is what she asked for after. It's something she should have collected at least before that kind of transaction happened at all. Choose yourself and be wary of pressure. When somebody is putting you under pressure, not allowing you to think, making it look like it's life and death situation, emergency situation. So if they are telling you all of those things, direct them to God, or you direct them to a bank. In a place where you're not allowed to think before you make decisions, that is a hint that you are likely being conned. So run, oh, run, oh. People always have options. At least before the person met you, were the enemies not after him or her? How was the person saving him or herself? So that is why, ladies, at that point also, you should have a questioning mind. If some things are too good to be true, if some things are not ticking in your mind, then you should probe further until your curiosity is satisfied. Because for me, why am I the one is asking for money? Though she said, I'm his girlfriend, who else would he ask? He has a lot of people to ask. Before he met you, there are a lot of people he had in his life. His parent number one are supposed to be the king and queen of diamonds, so they should be able to make a way out for him. He has properties here and there. He has car. Why is he not selling any of those items? Of course, a man of that caliber would have some spare cash in his safe that he carries around with him, especially one that knows that his enemies are after him. He wouldn't want to be stalked. He wouldn't want to be at the mercy of anybody. So why is it me who will be asking for money? And I feel like men have ego. Before a man would even open his mouth to ask you for money, not like at the early stage of relationship, 1 month that we have just met each other, you're asking me that huge amount of money. That is a big red flag. It's time to fly. And also, ladies, we need to be more accountable to ourselves, and not even just ladies, guys. Be accountable to yourself on how you spend your money. Don't forget that this is your hard-earned money, except you are getting it for free. I don't know. That's all for today. I would love to hear from you. What has been your experience in terms of fraudulent schemes or scams, or somebody conning you out of your money, either in romantic relationships or outside romantic relationship? Or what are some of the lessons that you have held on to from this documentary that you want to share with us? I would love to hear from you. I'd love to read from you. Please leave me some comments down below. I'm sure that a lot of people also want to read from you as well. Until I come your way again next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay winning. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.